Hey everybody!
Hello.
Whoa! Whoa! She's a little bit better. All right, y'all. What? Lord have
Girl.
mercy. Right? I
There.
think right there, girl. Right?
Yeah.
And we're live, bitches.
Oh wow.
Yes,
I've never been
girl.
live before.
Here we are. We're lovely people. I'd like to congratulate you on your win.
Thank you, baby.
And
Thank
from
you.
what I understand, you had not been in the competitions cycles for 6 years.
For 6 years, yeah.
Oh my gosh!
hmm
So you're like all like very dewy skin and like how were you like a baby pageant person?
No, I started doing pageants when I was 20. Actually, I'm 28 now.
Oh, you are.
Yes, bitch. Yes, bitch. Yes.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like you're a makeup artist. You
No,
know?
girl.
No,
Uh-uh.
good genes.
Yeah,
Healthy.
good genes.
You don't smoke cigarettes.
I don't smoke. No, I
That's
drink a
good.
lot,
You
but
drink a lot.
yeah, but
Well, you know the puffing and the unpuffing is bad because of alcohol.
oh,
But you must not drink often, honey, because
bitch, I'm drinking right now. Just
yeah.
kidding.
All right, girl.
Cheers,
We're
bitch.
drinking vodka, bitch. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's early in Taiwan. Mm. So you have a lot of talent, obviously, because I understand that you swept all the
The
categories.
categories, yes, I won every category. Yes.
And then, okay, so I saw where you were like giving your thank yous. You were like,
Um,
I put my package together like this in 48 hours, something like that. And you pulled some names and you were like, these people helped me out a lot.
uh-huh.
What did they do for you? Like, did they say, here's a mix, here's some choreography?
No, not as in that aspect. As in, I just had a lot of friends that I didn't have a formal wear outfit.
Uh-huh.
So I was actually borrowing clothes from like
Oh,
two
really?
of my really good friends. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Like the
okay.
tie that I was wearing and like the blazer and the pants were like from my friends because it was so last minute that I was like, bitch, I don't have any like formal wear.
Right?
So
Plus, it's hot. Who does it?
for real, for real.
When
And
you go to that New York wedding, girl.
I like formal all the
Oh.
time. So I just had friends that helped me out in that aspect, and then that was basically it, really. Honestly,
Yeah.
yeah. Because the other stuff, like the shoulder piece that I had for presentation, that was made for me by Carl, Vegas Van Cartier's husband.
When? Like, in 2 days?
No, that was made like years ago, but I needed it fixed because it was one of the chains was broken, so he had to fix it for me very last minute, and like we had to adjust it because she's gotten broader since the last
Because
time
she's
I wore
she's
it. Yeah,
masculina, Duresa.
yeah,
That's great.
and just giving me like last minute advice from a lot of friends and family members, and just being there to support me.
Yeah. So did you have a lot of people attend the event that you were, your
Yeah,
family?
a lot of my close friends went. Throughout the years, I've always had like the consistent same amount of like group of friends that have always been there and been have very supportive, and my family is always very supportive as well.
So let me ask you something about that whole consistency.
Uh,
So recently, and I don't know the details or anything like that, I've only got it from one side,
uh,
but there was an artist whose who is whose art was about gentrification, right?
mhm.
Like the bad stuff, right? And the gallery was, I guess, hooked up with developers that are actually gentrifying the east side, right? So
Okay.
then there was like this big stink, and I guess a group of people might have felt, and I say might, and I'm not gonna say what group of people, but might have felt that this Latino brother artist betrayed them by
Oh.
doing the show in the gallery that's actually in business also somehow with the developer.
Uh,
So like with the importance of like having your roots and things like that, in your opinion, and I know that you're like 6 years, you haven't been out in the public and saying things about because public opinion, people like will judge you, right? They're like,
oh
yes,
yeah,
I can take it, right? So like,
definitely.
so like the points that I think came up from this was because the artist himself was like, well, you don't see nobody cracking down on the Latino construction workers building the condos for the white people. They let them make their money. Like I have to make my
Okay.
money, right?
Uh huh.
And I was like, well, that's true. And I was like, plus the whole because what happened was this gallery was like vandalized. Like the dude's art was respected, but
Oh.
they vandalized the actual gallery on the inside. This group of people that might have felt that he betrayed them
Oh
as a
wow.
Latino.
Mm.
Yeah. So, what do you think about? That's a very big, heavy subject, right?
Uh huh.
Right. Okay. So let me just ask you: do you think, because of the current climate where like white people are choking the brown people, do you think that that's a reasonable, not a reasonable, but like something that you could might understand because it's still violence, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
would you say that you could understand why and not condone that behavior? I feel like I can understand why, but I wouldn't condone it. What do you think
Ye-
about that?
I would probably say the same thing. Yeah.
Right.
I could understand it, but I would never condone something like that.
Right, because it's not
Yeah.
the answer at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Uh
Yeah. I remember like this line in a Mel Gibson movie, which I guess he's not in favor,
huh.
but he was like the Patriot, and there was like a colonel that said to the other English colonel, "Don't fuck with them too much because in the end we're still gonna have to do commerce, right?
Uh huh.
Right? Because we're still like this, right? I feel
Yeah.
like we're not brushing, you don't brush your teeth with my toothbrush, but
Right.
we all have to be like a little bit together.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
right?
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so just that about gentrification
Mm-hmm.
and see how successful people can become if they have their roots, right? So if you're able like, to do anything about gentrification, hello positivity and
Yes.
hello results, right?
Yes.
So tell me more.
Tell you more. I started doing pageants when I was 20. Obviously, I stated that, but the first pageant that I ever did was Mr. Austin Pride in 2011 or 2010,
You were
and
20.
yeah, I was 20, and I
So
did.
you were wearing like the M minor, the big old X, right?
I had the X's on my hand, on my yeah,
Right, okay.
yeah. But when I was performing, I had gloves on, so they didn't see the
Oh, okay,
the
okay.
X's. But I wasn't like drinking or anything like that. But I had no idea what I was doing. It was my first time on stage, my first time ever doing a pageant. I had never known like anything about the pageant system or anything like that, so I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
What about like in school or high school, middle school? Were you in theater or dance
Nope.
or cheerleader?
No.
Not a spirit leader?
No, girl.
Powerpuff?
No. I was like very like reserved to myself. I was like into like my school
Really?
stuff. Yeah. The most artistic things that I did in school was like yearbook and newspaper, but it
So
wasn't
you had
like,
an idea of marketing, right?
kind of,
Like, yeah.
yeah.
And what about like dancing and walking and all
I
that?
always wanted. I wish I could go back to school, like high school, because I would have done dance definitely. Because I've always loved to dance. I've just never like pursued it.
But like when you walk, do you walk a certain way because like it's in your head?
Well, when I after experiencing doing like X amount of pageants throughout the years, you kind of learn how to model like the formal wear and the presentations, and there's been formers that have helped me out with like you need to model this way, you need to walk this way, and you need to smile, and you need to like be like this and like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like how much time do you spend on learning how to walk?
The first time I learned, I honestly learned like the same day of a pageant that I was competing in, and it didn't take me very long, but like 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let me ask you another question about like what it takes to be successful in this. So, do you know who Cantinflas is?
I do know.
Okay, so he's a Mexican actor. He's already deceased. They made like a cartoon semblance of him. He has like a big long mustache and he's real funny,
Okay.
right? And he does like a lot of physical comedy and there's like a lot of YouTube stuff on that you can find.
Uh,
So his name was Mario Moreno, and then he went by Cantinflas, right? And that was
Okay.
his stage name. So Cantinflas, because I would see him in the movies a long, long time ago in the movies in Mexico where we would go. But on YouTube, I noticed for the first time because I got involved in theater here in Austin, and the director was always talking about your body, and the levels, and move up and down,
Okay.
and que la chingada, like this, right?
uh-huh.
Sorry, Luis. And his name is Luis Ordaz. Tiene otros nombres, pero ahorita no sé por qué se me están olvidando. Luis, I'm not gonna say the wrong names. Luis Ordaz, I love him very much. Sí, la verdad que sí. But I was surprised in the YouTube videos that I noticed that he had like a six pack. Right? And to me, six packs have always been like an alien thing. I was like, ¿quién va a andar ahí como cucaracha con pinches así lumpy things, así, o sea, uno tiene pancita, pero no, parece cucaracha. ¿Sí me
So I
entiendes?
have a quick confession.
Uh-huh.
I actually don't know Spanish.
You don't?
I don't.
You don't have to confess that, right?
I don't.
Right,
I'm
people in
sorry.
the Americas, we move around and the
Like,
language stays.
I know a little bit of it, but I don't know like a lot of Spanish.
Okay,
Sadly, I'm sorry.
so like what I was saying is, you know, like to me, I was always like, you know, a belly, right?
Uh-huh.
And like a six pack was kind of like an alien cockroach belly.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Así
Yeah.
como a slimy lizard.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, even like Tersan would always like be shiny. So to me, it was always like, you know, he's a lizard. Or, you know, like the conspiracy theorist, lizard man.
Uh-huh.
So it was all there in my head. So anyway, I noticed that Cantinflas had a six pack in one of the YouTube videos. Like he did a thing and he was wearing like a white shirt and it fit into his six pack. And I was like, oh, because you have to be able to flip your body or to do the physicality of everything. So this is a really long way to ask you. So do you work out? Do you do gym stuff?
I do.
You do regularly?
Not as regularly as I used to. I used to like 2 years ago. I was going to the gym like almost every day because I had just recently gotten into like the gym, like trying to be fit and like trying to be like whatever. But ever since I was younger, I've always been kind of active. I've always like gone running. I usually would run like all the time. And then I just recently started going to the gym. I don't go as often now as I used to, but I do love it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. So I want to
Yeah.
toast you on your healthy lifestyle.
Well,
I
she
think-
still eats like shit, but
Well, you're
she
young.
goes to the gym.
You're young, so you know you can learn about whatever you want to learn about, right? And to survive, to make it, right?
Trying, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because like this one lady, because I used to do, I used to check out books for people at the books for the deaf, not for the deaf, for the blind, and this lady that would call in, and she was like a scientist that had retired, and she was like always looking for some subjects, and so I had to you know do a little bit of research.
Mhm.
But so while I was like doing the research, she would be talking, and she would ask me stuff like, you know, like how's your health, and I would like tell her because like I worked there for a while, and so she would say basically because she was like a scientist or something, she was like you can eat whatever you want as long as you just like push down a whole bunch of salad after it and not like iceberg. It has to be like rough. But she was like yeah,
greens.
yeah, she was like iceberg lettuce. She goes, it's like a basically like a paper towel, and she goes, and like the way some people just pull a tortilla out of the bag and just throw that food in there. That's the same thing. You just put it down in there, and like your intestines, they have like the little finger things, the villi, and then the tortilla will go in there like this and stay there, and then your shit will be fucked up. Yeah. So like if you eat just like a bunch of salad,
it like helps push it out.
Yeah. Health of the villi. And like nutrition absorption and all that shit. But that's all I know about that, right?
Okay. That's it.
That's it.
Cute.
Yeah. So tell me about this. Do you have a lot of these?
I do. I've won every single male Austin pageant in Austin. I've won Mr. Austin Pride, Mr. Austin Sweetheart, Mr. Austin Entertainer Now, and Mr. Austin US of A.
Mr. Austin US of A.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So okay, so tell me about the pageant system. So is that one sounds like it's national, right? So that's
The US of A system is national.
So what's that like? I mean, like, so I've seen like you know references on TV to pageant life, like John Benet Ramsey. Right? Were you ever in danger, bitch?
No, not that I know of. No, not that I know
Are you sure, girl?
Yes.
Okay, so none of the other bitches were ever gonna do like a Tanya Harding on you. And...
Oh, I hope not. I
No.
hope not. I don't know. I've never tried to cause any sort of like drama with anybody like that because I ain't trying to. I'm not trying to go out that way. No.
Right?
No.
I wanna live, bitch.
Yes, I'm trying to live. I ain't trying to fucking die.
Okay.
Doing one of these pageants.
Okay, so tell me about the pageant like that. Like, so the national pageant, what do you have to do to, so was that an entry level?
Yeah. So Mr. Gay Austin US of A is an entry level to Mr. Texas US of A. And then from Mr. Texas US of A, you go to Mr. Gay US of A.
Yeah.
So it's like city, state, nation, or right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So
so
there's,
like,
like-
do you have to have local titles to be able to apply?
No. You can go to like San Antonio and compete for Mr. San Antonio US of A and not have like any experience whatsoever. But if you win that pageant, or if you're a first alternate, you're already qualified to go to Texas US of A. And at Texas US of A, if you win, or if you're like in the top 3, I believe, you go to Mr. Gay US of A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
have
it's like
you
a whole little system.
have you pursued it further? Like, did you go?
I have.
Yeah.
The first time I did it was when I competed for Mr. Austin US of A, I think in 2011 or 12, and I had lost, but I was the first alternate, so I automatically qualified to go to Mr. Texas, and I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I had no idea what it was about. I knew absolutely nothing about it, but I went and I just did whatever, and I got like completely last. There was like 20 something guys, and I was like the last guy that
So
was
like,
on the
so like, I understand like the word package means like
yeah.
all your looks, right?
Uh,
Like, and then what, like a dance number, like a.
well, for whenever you're doing a pageant, they have certain categories. Categories can be like presentation. Presentation is any sort of theme. Like if you want to do a cowboy theme, or this theme for Mr. Austin Entertainer was Rock of Ages. So you have presentation, and then you have formal wear or club wear, and sometimes you'll have on-stage Q&A, question and answer, or sometimes you'll do an interview before the pageant actually begins. So you'll go to the club and wherever the pageant is happening at, and there will be judges sitting down, and they would interview you. You're basically applying for a job when you're doing like a US of A kind of system pageant, because you're having to become that face that people are recognizing, and you're taking on that role of being that person for them basically. And then after that you have talent, and talent can be like solo. You can sing, you can dance, you can fucking juggle shit if you want to. Like it doesn't, there's not really a certain like kind of thing. There are rules that you do have to follow, like you can't have like liquid or fire or anything like that in your talents. And you can have X amount of people that you want to have, like if you want to have backup dancers and all that stuff.
I wasn't able to attend the event. What did you do for? Was there a talent
For my-
component?
Yeah, for my talent, I did a dance number to Michael Bublé's "Feeling Good."
Oh really?
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I felt really, really good about it. I honestly haven't seen it because my friends that went, they were like, we were just like in the moment, we were all cheering for you, but they didn't record anything. So I'm like, fuck, I wish I could see it. So I honestly don't know personally how I looked, but from what I've heard and from the plaque of winning best talent, I'm assuming that it went pretty good. So
I'm here for that. You're like, the plaque speaks for itself.
yeah, so I'm like, but
wow.
yeah.
So like the part about dance and things like that.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not a dancer, but I guess I've always wanted to be a dancer. So I took not dance to I didn't take dance classes to learn how to dance so much as to strengthen my ankles, because I was gonna walk in a show.
Okay.
And but the choreographer, the lady that taught me that gave me the lessons, she was like, I see you twirling, bitch. She was like, do you want to hang out? Because she has a company called Lotus Productions. Her name is Melissa Villarreal. She's the T. So she was a choreographer for Rudy, that was Ballet East.
Uh-huh.
And so I would go to her place and like do the stretches and the strength things for my ankles.
Uh-huh.
But then, like in the mornings here at my house, I'll do a little bit of those to keep my ankles strong. I'll do some twirls and shit. I'll be like, solo de la casa, and I'll be like twirling and shit. Like, do you like go around doing that kind of stuff? Like, Are you always like pointing your toes or
Oh,
but like all the
okay.
time? Like like when you see a ballerina out in public,
Yeah.
she holds herself like this and
Yeah, yeah,
she
yeah.
walks a certain way. Like, is
Yeah.
that how you walk?
No, no, definitely not.
No.
So I love to dance. I grew up watching Britney Spears. I love Britney Spears. I feel like she's kind of the person that taught me how to dance in a way from
Oh my
watching
god,
like her
yeah.
old music videos and shit.
Yeah.
Um, so that's actually why I got into wanting to like entertain and perform for people and put on a show for people. It's from Britney Spears. I have never taken a dance class in my entire life. No, I'm not a trained dancer or anything like that. Everything that I like perform and do on stage is just something that is from within myself or something that I've just seen and just tried to do, but I don't know like the technical terms of like how you're actually supposed to do whatever. I just kind of do my own thing.
Have you seen have you seen recordings of yourself dancing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you know what works.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And at home, girl, ever since I was little, like at home, I'd be in the mirror, just like living my life, living my fantasy, just like dancing and doing whatever. So yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
So let's keep looking at these plaques.
Okay.
So tell me this one.
This one's the actual Mr. Austin Entertainer plaque. So that's the actual plaque that says I'm Mr.
I
Austin.
guess this is gonna be backwards or
Oh,
right, because the camera is kind of weird like that.
yeah.
But this is fabulous, Mira. Mom loves you.
Shut
She does. Your mom loves you.
She does. She better love me. And then this one's Best Talent because I won Best Talent. And then.
Because she's a dancer, bitch.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Best Formal Wear.
Yeah. All right, friends that came through.
For real, right?
Mira, mom, she loves you.
And then this was Best Question and Answer. When I did Formal Wear, on stage they asked me a question and answer. I pulled out a question from a hat, a random question, and then yeah, I answered the question.
How
on
do you
stage.
prepare for that kind of shit? Like, you just like watching CNN and
Uh,
all the comedy channels,
the
right?
No, actually, my drag mom, Reagan Reynolds, she's known me since I was 12. My older brother is gay, and she was his best friend. And my brother used to go out, and they were best friends and everything. So she's known me for a long time. And then when I started going out, she would notice that I would be like living my life on stage, just like dancing. Back in Kiss and Fly days, I would be like up there and just like doing my thing, and she
On
would
that
see me.
stage.
Yeah, and she would see me, and she just came up to me one night, and she was like, "You should do a pageant. You should perform." And she's basically the one that taught me like how to answer questions on stage, how to put a package together, how to do an interview. Like, she's basically the one that really taught me a lot about the whole pageant system. Yeah.
Let's look at this one, and then I'm gonna ask you
This
some
one's
questions about that. What we just said, what you just said.
creative presentation. That was the first category, which was Rock of Ages.
So how did so when they tell you a category
Uh-huh.
and you start thinking what am I gonna give them?
Yeah.
What do you do to think about what you're gonna create or like? Because is it a possibility that you could miss the mark?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So Rock of Ages, is that like a Bible song? Isn't that like an old gospel song?
I
Rock of
honestly,
Ages.
I honestly had no idea what it meant. I went to Nadine, who's the promoter of the pageant, Nadine Hughes. I went to her and I was like, "What does that even like entail? Like, what do I just wear something like rockerish, or am I supposed to like interpret something from like a rock video or like a rock icon? Like, I don't really know like what I should do." But it's creative, which gives you the leeway of kind of making it whatever you want to make it in a way.
You just have to successfully do it, right?
Yeah,
Right.
like whatever you're gonna put up there, just make sure you're doing it with confidence and you're selling it. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. I remember the director would say, pick an intention and then stick with it, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't look all sloppy or weird or like
Yeah.
juxtaposition.
Yes.
Okay, so now that we're best friends,
Now, yeah.
look, my shit is falling apart.
You
I'm
got some glue
I do have lots of, I have a big mess in there. I have to
in your closet.
fix it, yes. So on Valentine's Day, speaking of Nadine, mira, she's having the Miss Broken Hearts
Oh,
Valentine.
yeah, at
right?
Sellers.
I'm gonna go.
Are you gonna compete?
Yes, I'm gonna go.
Yes, yes.
So I have like my outfit that I have
Okay.
for my black heart couture, and then I asked her like, so is that like I'm assuming 3 looks because it's like black heart couture, and then question and answer,
Uh-huh.
and then Candy Crush,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So for the question and answer, like how do you prepare for that? Like what are the possibilities? Or you just always have to be like just say something witty and cute and right?
Oh, you can take it that way. You can respond with like something witty and cute, something silly. People love to laugh. So if you respond with something witty and cute and people are laughing, if they're feeling that, if you're feeling that, then they're feeling that, and that's gonna it could possibly result in like something that's like, oh, cute. Like that might not be like the proper way to answer the question, but in a sense, you still did your own thing and you kind of pulled it off because it's who you are.
So what would an alternative way?
So the way that I've learned to answer like an on-stage question and answer is by they ask me the question, and then I would say, "Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Joe Fatale, contestant number whatever, and the question presented to me tonight is whatever." And then you would answer the question, and then you want to end it by saying, "And by becoming your next Miss, what is the title? Candy?
Miss Broken Hearts.
And as
Queen.
your
Queen of Broken Hearts.
and as your Queen of Broken Hearts, as your next Queen of Broken Hearts, I would fulfill this whatever by doing
I
that."
keep being flawless, bitch. You'll
Yeah.
come in. It's gonna be by ballot. So vote for me, girl. They're gonna
Yes.
give you $200 if you win.
I'm gonna be there.
You are.
Yeah,
So-
well, if you're gonna do it, I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna be there.
All right,
yes.
perfect. So vote for me, and I'm gonna like throw the $200 back at the bar, and then we can all do shots at once.
Fuck yeah, I'm
Right.
down.
Vote for me. Well, at least get a shot, bitch. Right.
Yes.
All right. So, okay. So then, okay. So I'm with it with the whole, like, I want to say UIL competition of it all, right? Like a
Mhm.
certain way that you hold what's given to you, and then you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So okay. So then, what about like the Candy Crush saga? To me, it's like I googled the Candy Crush saga costume, and it was just like leotards or the candies, or some kind of baby costume, like a little pink trapezoid, or I'm not sure what the shape is. It's like a plaid pink and pink stockings and shoes, and I guess like you have paper arms because you're like a paper doll or like a doll like this.
Okay.
And I'm like, I want to be that bitch, but how do I put the pole? Like, I want to pull up my ass. I want a stick, bitch. I want a stick. I would like do like this, right? Because I can like do the big ponytails and start the wig way back here because she's got all head, right?
I honestly don't even know what the fuck Candy Crush Saga is. What is that?
It's like a game where you like.
Oh, is that?
It's like the drop game.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking something very more old school, but I just realized that it's actually that Candy Crush game that's like on everybody's phone.
Yeah.
But I would just, because when I think of Candy Crush, for some reason I just thought about like a Katy Perry candy dress.
Oh.
That's what I thought. But now that I think about it, I'm like, okay, well maybe it's something different.
Because I was thinking about modifying the shape of that dress so it was more age appropriate. ¿Sí me entiendes?
You should have a candy wig.
Oh, mira.
Yes.
I bought a little purse and I have it full of candies. And I haven't decided like how exactly I'm gonna use them. But I'm also gonna make like the candy shapes, and I saw Boussier's like all candy, like even Cynthia Lee Fontaine made one in the RuPaul.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So something like that. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do exactly yet, but I wanted like to. I don't have enough time or like the billetes coins, right? To like, because I would like ask somebody to make me something that moves, bitch. You know, like you push it and the little candies move up and down like this amount, like if you are
don't give away all your all your secrets, all your ideas.
Right.
Bitches are gonna steal your shit.
Well, I hope they do, bitch. I hope they do. You know, and I hope they lay down the 200 at the bar too, because it'll be that same shot, bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I would like to win. I'm like, I could die tomorrow and then at least have something.
That's very true.
Right?
Mhm.
She's so morbid.
Yeah.
So tell me what's next for you.
What is next for me?
Do you have responsibilities?
I feel like as Mr. Austin Entertainer, I feel like I do have responsibility now. Yeah. Again. Because for a while I felt like I was just like going out and getting fucked up for like no reason. But now
Now you're gonna get fucked up with a purpose.
yeah, right? It's like I'm gonna get fucked up now for a purpose. No, I'm just gonna try to basically go to every show that I possibly can just to be like supportive. And we have a drag king community that feels like they are very out of the loop, like on 4th Street, like with the drag shows and the drag scene and everything. And so I'm really gonna try to work on a way to incorporate them into more drag shows on 4th Street. So that's like my first task that I'm gonna try to take on.
That's so awesome. You know, Jamie Bancroft, the founder of the Austin International Drag Fest, he came on my little show, and he talked about one of the drag kings doing a conference or some kind of, you know, I don't know, like network building or like, I think it's a conference, like a council, like their own little council within that organization for the drag king community. Because like this last year was the first time they had drag king. They opened with the drag king festival. I forget the name for that specific day, but it was drag kings all day, and it was a fucking amazing.
Was
day.
it?
Yes.
See, I need to go, as Mr. Austin Entertainer. I feel like I need to be involved with all of the entertainment we have in our scene. And I would love to go to something like that.
Yeah, on my YouTube channel, you can see some clips. That shit was amazing. And I have to tell you, I fell in love with a lot of the entertainers. They were so fucking amazing. And then with that press pass, I was able to like, hey, right? And it was great. It was really, really cool. I really loved it. But intersectionality is something that we talked about too. The whole thing about, you know, todos, everybody, right?
Needing to be together.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And I think so too. I think because like, how do you cultivate not the acceptance, but the like the public's enamoration with a type of drag or a type of entertainment if they're not available to go see them, right? They have to be booked for somebody to even grow to appreciate them, right? Yeah, absolutely. So that's great that you're gonna. How are you gonna do that? Have you talked to some people?
Well, my Miss Austin Entertainer, Lady Grackle for Breath. I love her.
I love that.
She has her shows at Highland, so we're supposed to be doing like a little potluck dinner congratulating me and her on Monday. So I really want to talk to her about different ideas.
At the bar?
No, we're doing it at one of her friends' apartment.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so it's something that they just want to like throw for us to congratulate us. So I want to talk to her about like possible ideas of what we can do.
That's fabulous. Yeah. So she has like I want to say like her own residency over there at Highland, right? Like she like
basically, right?
Yeah. So she's the fucking tea. Like
I love her.
I have been a drag fan for a long time, and one time I followed these queens to New York because they were gonna be in the wig. I forgot the name. Bushwick. I think Bushwick. I forget.
I don't know.
But La Lady Gracklebird, because she had like been doing something and she fucked up her knee, so she was still over there in New York with her knee in a big old brace and crutches and everything.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
But she was still in face and gonna perform and nothing like that. And so a group of the girls were in a hotel room, and I went to go visit them at night, and she was all passed out on the bed, and then I was like, we were like in Brooklyn. And so there weren't enough cabs at night. So I was like, how am I going to go home? And I was like, so she was also had a wheelchair, bitch. So I was gonna like, I guess I'll snatch her wheelchair and just push that bitch home, right? And then all of a sudden she's like, no, bitch. Right? I love you, Miss Lady Gracklebird, right? Yes, girl.
Cheers.
Are we running out of time?
Yes, I gotta go to work. We have like 5 minutes.
All right, so we're gonna say ta-ta because we're gonna snap some photos and we'll upload them so y'all can see more fabulousness.
Yes.
Okay. Bravo to you. Thank you. Oh my God, thank you.
Yeah.
She's learning Spanish and she's bilingual right now.
Yes. I'm officially bilingual.
Bravo to you. Congratulations, mi
Thank
amor.
you, baby. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for
having me.
coming.
Y'all have a good day.
Bye, y'all.
Thank y'all for joining.
Bye. It always takes a while.